For the first time in a long while, Orion Oliver had found a place that slowed him enough to settle, at least for a little. His tiny room in the flat wasn't much, but in the bustling life of the city, it might as well have been a palace. He had a bed for sleeping, a dark corner for processing his photographs, and a desk for writing. He wrote often now and was employed by Cadence magazine. A fact-checker was better than nothing. 2 roommates shared his palace. One, Mr. Ronan Paul, outgoing, tall, and mysterious. He had odd hours at some factory near the river. An ambitious Henry Holman, a lad who worked in a mailroom. The flat shared one thing with the rest of the floor, a kitchen at the end of the hall, a place so permanently dingy and dirty, yet the hub of Orion's social life. There were 3 women who the men divided that kitchen with. Miss Patsy Gavin, a secretary, Miss Emma Dunn, a typist, and Miss Gina Romero, who was always getting fired from something. It was a common occurrence for Orion to split whatever supper had ended up most edible, or to hand around the paper after he was finished. But out of all those pretty girls across the hall, Orion couldn't help but focus on Gina. "Why don't you send for those sisters of yours? I'm sure they'd like to see the city. The girls and I would take good care of them for you." "They'd be too shocked, I'm afraid. But I appreciate the offer. Everyone needs a little shock now and again." Orion had no intention of exposing his sisters to this city of brick and stone and flashing constant light. The streets were too wild, the nights wilder, and the sin too much on the surface. He wasn't unaware of the goings-on surrounding Dogwood, but the issues felt far away. Though Orion had received letters from nearly everyone detailing their own side or their own thoughts, they felt like plights from an age long gone. The farm, Aunt Addie's return, Uncle David's sentencing, Gray's perch, money, strife, money. It was all for Orion Ratliff to worry over. But he wasn't Ratliff anymore. Orion Oliver cared about nothing in particular. "Penny for your thoughts, farm boy. You're looking awful worried this morning. Why don't you pour me a cup of Joe and Gab? Then he sacked me. Can you believe it? And you were only late 8 times. How unfair. Enough of your mockery. What's got you down? Missing planting seeds again? It's autumn. Gina, harvest season. Not planting season. You say that as if I should know. I've never seen a farm up close in my life. You don't say. Very funny. I didn't know they made them sarcastic in the sticks. I didn't know they made city girls so charming. You know what they say? City girls are pretty girls. Don't I know it?" Orion's days were never quite the same, though they had an even rhythm to them. Fact-checking could be interesting. He was just the man to expect the unexpected. "Orion, won't you entertain a poor out-of-work shop girl, even for a day? You'd better not make me late, pretty girl." "Someone's definitely home. Good investigating. I'm just here to confirm the details. And this is Gina, my note-taker. You said your name is Clive. Is that with a C?" "Yes." "All right, it wasn't very interesting, but it was a step." And it was enough to entice Ms. Romero. Enticing enough, at least, to spend the day confirming details like Clive with C and stomping the stacks of the library. He couldn't help but like her. He couldn't help but want her. Orion Oliver did have quite the soft spot for elusive, sharp women. There was only the question whether she wanted him back. Thankfully, it was his job to find the answers to questions. Thrilling day. "I'm pleased you thought so. Listen, farm boy, I'm not exactly attached, but I'm not exactly unattached, see? So don't go getting any bright ideas about us." "Of course not, city girl." Of course he couldn't stop thinking about her. He'd never been demanded by a woman to ignore his passions. Not when she knew every speakeasy within a mile. Not when she could drink him under the table. Not when she could so happily slip away and dance with him in the moonlight. But folly is the calling of youth, and Orion simply thought, if Gina was as unattached as she said, then that made him part of the running. Unfortunately, their affair, if one could call it that, didn't go unnoticed. So when the bar closed and the party moved to the girl's apartment, Orion Oliver found how foolish she really was. He'd never known or questioned who the mysterious semi-attachment was. Of course it was Ronan, 2 city people with their city mentalities and city knowings. The tension in the flat was exceptional. Orion found himself eating a little earlier, avoiding the halls, trying to make conversation with quiet Henry Holman. The man didn't have much to say beyond he'd been promoted slightly and found a new apartment almost in his price range. The hint was taken as polite chatter. Because, as usual, Orion's mind was on more delicate matters. I love you. Isn't that enough? I told you how it had to be. Why didn't you listen? Ronan is going to propose. We've had a good thing going since before you even got here. The flirting? The library? Part of our arrangement. Until we're married. Oddly, his heart had hurt worse than this. So, at the end of it all, it was easy to ask her, and easy to go.